I've got something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
Hell yeah. Hello YouTube, welcome back to the second episode of the F1 2016 career mode with me, Let's Space Larry. So, sorry it's taken a while to get this video together. I had some issues with my editor, so I've gone back to Sony Vegas. Screw Premiere Pro, the audio sync issues are just not my cup of tea. So, we're just having a look at the upgrades that we've made and the progress that we've made. We've jumped Renault in the stats there, which is really good. And I've been contemplating whether or not to do, I don't really want to, but whether to do whether to do commentary live or not, and I don't really want to do that. So here's the some showing of our practice runs in our car. I'm just showing you snippets of our best runs during the practice sessions. My basic aim is to have the videos around 20 odd minutes. I don't want them to be any longer than that. And I'm planning on doing maybe 3 videos a week. I think that'll work with my schedule and stuff. So this is the tyre wear. The tyre wear for this track just was ridiculous. I got 1 green lap in the entire session for this first session, and I was just, yeah, I was really struggling to find the correct lines that I could save the tyre, save the tyres on and things like that. But at the end of practice 3, we were able to get green for that, and we were able to get perfect for both qualifying and the track acclimatization. So I was pretty happy with that. But I felt, so I had ended up at the end of the last race upping it not to expert but actually to legend. And you'll see towards the end of this video why it wasn't such a great idea. I think expert is the perfect level for me at the moment. It's probably going to be a bit too easy as we listen to the voicemail.
Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
Alright, so qualify 17th or higher and Belit Felipe Nasr. Alright, beat Felipe Nasr. Beat Felipe Nasr. Alright, I can do this. I can commentate, guys. So yeah, you can see there I had the AI level on expert and I thought it was still a bit too easy. So what does this non go and do? I quit to the main menu, I restart the game, and I restart it in legend. So I kind of screw myself over before we even begin, because I'd done all these practice sessions having the expectations that I'd had on expert, and now I've decided to go to legend, and as you're about to see just in the race, it just was not worth it. So this is lap 4 of my qualifying session. I had already qualified above my team's expectations at 13th, but I decided to go out again to just because I think I was sitting around 5th or 6th. I just decided to go out again because I needed to make sure that I was doing well, but I just couldn't keep the pace up, and this track is very hard to keep the pace up, and it's very flowing track that I just have no decent knowledge of. So I kind of just gave up on that run there that you just saw, and I decided to fast forward a little bit to just see if that was going to be okay or not. I wasn't sure whether or not it was going to be, but when I just started falling down the order and realized that no one else had made runs, I realized, shit, I need to go out on some fresh tires, maybe go on less fuel. So I dumped a big chunk of my fuel, went out again, fresh tires this time, and this is another attempt at qualifying lap, but I keep, I outbraked myself too much, and yeah, I wasn't able to get as good a lap as I wanted in the end. As you're about to see in a second, I skip forward to the end of the lap, take as tight a line as I can, try and get as much speed onto this straight, and gain as much time as I possibly can, and it just isn't enough to get anywhere. So I have to start last for the Grand Prix, and that's not great. It's not what I wanted, but you know, that's basically what happens when you change things up to Legend difficulty and you're just not up to scratch with the Legend AI. And it would be okay if I was on par with my teammate at least, but I wasn't even that. So I was quite a bit slower than my teammate, which means the difficulty is too high for me. Obviously, I could save a lot of time by going manual gears. I reckon I would go a lot faster on manual gears, but I think I'll.
Hey, how are you?
I'll just.
I have some information on the race goals
No idea.
to keep in mind.
I might actually, maybe for next season, I might train myself up on manual gears first. Do some practice before the actual recording, and then do some manual gears, because I know that'll get me up to scratch, and I can go faster with that. So here we go, to the start of the race, our second race in our F1 2016 career mode. Skipping all those boring intros that no one gives a shit about, that really needs to be taken out of the game, Codemasters. And have a look at the tyre strategy. The high tyre management strategy looks doable. It didn't look doable starting on super soft, so I decided to change it to my personalised strategy. I think the personalised strategy assumed that I would be good at saving tyres, which I think everyone, even on my second race, knows I'm not, as 5 red lights go out and away we go off the lines. As you can see, the shadows, we leave the shadows behind there. We get an okay start. It's not amazing, but I'm just trying to stay back from the first corner carnage, just in case there's anything. Brake hard for the first corner, broke a little bit late, so locked up the front tyres there as we go on the inside of Haryanto, around his outside, giving him plenty of room. Being brake checked by Magnussen, my teammates on my left there, as we go through this straight here, as I'm making up as many positions as I can, because I know that this is when I can do it. The AI is super slow, and I smash into the side of Gutierrez there. That was an extremely aggressive move from myself. Let's have a look at the replay of the start. I promised these would be in here this race, and here they are. And this gives you sort of a good idea of how it would look if this was shown on TV. You can see us at the back there, sort of loitering around, being very, very careful about which line we pick and choose. Dive up the inside of the manners there, because there was a bit of space as we come up the hill, and we approach the bend here. And I sort of just look for a space and find it, brake, lock up, hit the side of Gutierrez, and he sort of turns me around the corner. So if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have made that turn. But we're now P14. Our team wants us to get 19th, so I was very happy with that. I have very slight wing damage, which I had for the entire race. And I don't know if you know this, but if your wing is sort of light green, apparently they don't have to touch the actual front of the car, but if you go into the pits, it automatically fixes. As we skip ahead to the end of lap 2, and we've got Gutierrez there again behind us, searching for a way around us as we approach the start-finish line. And he has a look on our outside there, and then thinks better of it. Comes back to the inside, lining up some more slipstream, and doesn't quite get it done, but he definitely has a little look there at that. So let's have a look at that in third person there. You can see him sort of lining things up and trying to find a way around, but I just made my line purposely extremely defensive and very awkward going through there. So but I don't do Max Verstappen's as we fast forward to lap 4 here. He tries again, this time around my outside, and I brake very late and still dive it down the inside, but give him plenty of room, and he manages to make the overtake happen. Let's have a look at that. We'll go to third person here for the next bit as well. As you can see, I just go a little bit too soft into that corner, and I don't really make the most of my speed there. So I decided to just line him up for a pass here, as you can see, and we go through on the inside in the next corner, which was a good pass by me. We fast forward to lap 5, and my engineer is asking me if I want to switch strategy, and I felt my tyres going off, and I thought I can't really do a couple more laps on these tyres, so I do come in this lap to try and get these tyres replaced, because I'm starting to lose the grip there, as you can see. It's quite realistic in a way, because you know, you're trying to press the buttons on the wheel and you're actually steering the wheel at the same time, and you know, yeah. So we come into the pits at the start of lap 6 basically, and we're going to end up in last place at the end of the pit, at the end of our pits. So we'll have a lot of fresh air to hopefully gain some time. I've tried to not have any rich fuel on at this point, because I was saving them all. I was saving all my rich mix for this moment here as we come out of the pits, and yeah. So we're going straight from these tires to the medium tires next, as we lock up for that first corner and destroy all that nice fresh rubber. At the end of lap 7, a couple of laps later, we'd passed Sainz as he came out of the pits last lap, but he's sized us up and gone for a move around the outside as more people are coming out of the pits. I can see Grosjean there ahead of us as we overtake Sainz there. We're in 19th place at the moment, which is where our team wants us to be at the moment, which is a pretty good result. I wouldn't mind holding it, but you know, I tried to push to get to Grosjean, but I couldn't. Several laps later, some more cars came in the pits, lap 11, and Button came right out of the pits there, and I had sort of formed a Sauber train behind me, and sort of keeping all the cars up, and it was very difficult to stay ahead. And this is the reason I know this definitely was not the right difficulty for me, and yeah, I wasn't able to make any kind of inroads on Button. He just was too fast for me to try and catch him. My pace was just not up to scratch. I mean, it would have been fine if I had been on manual gears, but you know, on auto gears, so I lose a lot of speed. But at least I saved some fuel. I got some worn tires there as Sainz is having another look. I take a really defensive sort of middle line there, give him as much space as I can get, that I can allow him to, and he really does the overtake quite well, and there's no real way for me to get him back. So he overtakes me successfully on lap 13 there. I'll just skip ahead to the end of lap 14, so third sector of lap 14. And our engineer asks us if we want to switch strategies again and go into the super softs, but I don't really want to do that. We're on lap 14. We have to pit in 2 laps time. I think I can do 2 laps on shitty worn soft tires, but as you're about to find out, I wasn't able to last the 2 laps. The end of lap 15, it was just getting too difficult. My front left was just 80% worn, and there was nothing left for it. So I decided to come in a lap early and yeah, risk it, but I came in anyway. And it hurt me at the end of the race. Coming in early both times really does hurt your strategy, and you need to. One of the things I need to learn in this game is to be able to manage the tyres better. I mean, it's a bit of a shame that Formula 1 has become this game of trying to save the tyres, but that's the sport that it is today. I didn't really need to save fuel very much, and I suspect as I do some fuel saving upgrades to the car, I probably won't need to, and I could probably put less and less in the car and have a better feeling car. As we skip ahead to lap 17, we're in 22nd place there, and our teammate comes out of the pits, lap 18. Let's see if we can overtake him. He is one of our goals, so it is very important for me to overtake him. I need to beat him in the rivalry so that other teams can see that I'm a worthwhile driver, and we can hopefully maybe move team at the end of the season. We skip ahead to lap 20, catching right up onto the end of Palmer here as I go really wide out of that corner. That corner, the braking zone is really hard to get right. But our teammate now is coming up on our inside as we approach this corner, braking as late as I possibly can without locking up, and we just keep it around the outside there. So let's have a look at that. You can see him getting a good run on us down that straight, and because we're in the same car, it's basically very hard for him to overtake, but I just kept it around the outside, and he sort of tapped us there, but we were able to keep it in control as we round up this thing. But this lap here, we're only a few laps now, several laps now to the end, and we just need to make sure that we can maximize our chances, and if there's any chance of overtaking anyone, we will take it at the moment, because we're below our team's requirements, as our teammate now sizes us up for another overtake as we pass the line here. I switch it into rich fuel mix to try and keep as much speed as I can. I decide to brake really late and aggressive into that turn. That was a really shitty move there, but I managed to keep the spot, but in a really really bad way. I wasn't happy about that, but the difficulty was just too high for me, and yeah, I just when you're racing and it's not real life, try your hardest. Let's skip to lap 23. There's more cars now coming out of the pits, and I see a really good opportunity here to overtake Verline for 19th place, which is what we need. I was able to catch him up during the pits, and in the fresh air I was able to catch him up, which means at least I'm still faster than Manners. As I brake really hard, and he sort of sees that and dives out of the way, as you can see here on the replay. We really put the car in a position where if he turns in, he's got to hang around the outside, which for some reason he couldn't. But towards the end of lap 23, as we're coming on to lap 24, it's really last bit of the race here. There's more cars coming out of the pits. Our teammates having a go, and we've got Harrianto now coming out of the pits, and I've just sort of picked my line very carefully coming through there, and now we've got to chase Harrianto down. So let's have a look at this replay again, and you can see Harrianto coming out of the pits here on the left hand side there, and then you've got Verline and my teammate, and then looks like either Gutierrez or Grosjean in the background there, as we take a really good line through those corners there, and we continue up the hill here, following Harrianto, trying to find a way around him, as I sort of slipstream him and then take a really tight line in the corner. I do a bit of a lock-up, but I'm able to take the place there. Skipping ahead to the next lap, to later that lap, rise across the finish line. Harrianto takes me, but I brake so late, locking up a little bit and hanging it around his outside to try and keep my position. I'm just not going to relinquish anything, because I feel that psychologically, if I let one go, it's gonna be a lot easier for them to then bully me. But he keeps having looks. He's not giving up. They tap me a little bit there as I struggle to keep the car under control. The tyres are really starting to be worn out now. By this point, as you can see on the replay, Harrianto gives me a big tap there, and you can sort of see he gets sort of stuck and spun on my rear wheel there, but I was able to just keep it under control. And we have now Lewis Hamilton behind us, so I sort of move out of the way to let him through, but I don't want to slow down too much. But then he brake checks me, and my teammate sneakily drives past me, and in a sort of a rash move in this corner here, I don't let him overtake me. So I just sort of dive bomb him into the corner, tap him out of the way a little bit. Really bad move. I think, if this is real Formula 1, I'd probably lose my license by now. But for some strange reason, this is the last lap because the 2 leaders have overtaken me. But my tyres are just gone, and apparently my engineer wants me to pit again, even though it would be pointless pitting because I wouldn't need to go around again. I think that needs to really be fixed. Unfortunately, the game's not realistic, but I've saved a bit of fuel to do a bit of rich mix in this part of the game. Sorry, in this part of the in this part of the race. And yeah, trying my best to just keep the position. I have to drive this sort of weird middle line because there's just no grip, and I have to be just so careful on the brakes and on the throttle. Make sure I don't overshoot it, because if you put too much power down too early, you'll just go spinning. So it's a struggle to keep my teammate behind me as Lewis Hamilton crosses the line to win the race, with Nico Rosberg just behind him. Rosberg uses that time to set a fastest lap for the race, but I'm able to keep my position and cross line 18th. I was okay with that, and I could have been a lot worse. But you know, it is what it is. Next race, obviously, I'm going to be downing the difficulty to expert, and I think I'll just keep it there for this season. If it gets too easy, I'll up it then. But I'm going to be a little bit more cautious with fiddling with the difficulty. And here's the podium. Ricardo, all the same 3 podium finishes as last race. So yeah, no, it was a good race. But I think that we have a lot more to do, and hopefully I'll be doing 2 videos on Sunday, and I hope to upload them Sunday night and Monday night. So hopefully they get up. So now we move at the end of that we see our resource points that we collected for the race, and we got a nice haul, but it's not enough to really do anything substantial with. We're leading the rivalry still, which is really good. And yeah, everything's really positive. But I had a look at the upgrades, and there was really only one upgrade we could do with the amount that we had, which was a fuel efficiency upgrade, which will be fine, which will be delivered to us at the start of the next race. So yeah, that'll be really good. Alright then, thank you guys for watching, and thumbs up if you liked the video, comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.